Indonesia is a huge country, as it's in need, of infrastructure developments. But you might not want to rush, into development projects that might also harm the environment or create problems, for the economy in the future. What kind of sustainable projects that you have in mind?
Yes, Indonesia is a kind of logistic nightmare. And our government nowadays is concentrating on infrastructure development. And most of it is still land-based infrastructure. But I think in the near future we will be seeing shift in favor of marine-related infrastructure. And I think this connects quite well with the One Belt, One Road of China. But there is another important element to this, of course. Infrastructure also will have to cover social infrastructure. And on this, Indonesia has a lot to catch up in terms of providing health to population, providing good education to population, skill formation, and of course, entrepreneurship related to small and medium enterprises.
The fact that Indonesia geographically is cut off, from mainland Southeast Asia, do you think that this is a disadvantageous position, for Indonesia in order to integrate with the ASEAN or also, with the One Belt, One Road project?
Yeah, on surface, we may look somewhat off the road in Asia. Of course, we are not directly connected to the Asia continent, but Indonesia has always been part of the Silk Road in the past. But also now we can see how important Indonesia is when we think about connectivity between Europe and Asia, as well as between Asia and Australia. And I think in the near future we'll be seeing Indonesia playing a more important role in connecting Asia with South Pacific. And I think this we need to push forward while cooperating in East Asia.
Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world with more than 120 million population. What is the economic challenge? What kind of policy that should be implemented in order to make sure that the majority of the Indonesian people, have a fair share or a decent, standard of living?
Yeah, being the largest Muslim country in the world may not have a very dominant influence on how economic policy is designed and implemented in Indonesia. Of course, there are elements of Islamic system in our economy. The Sharia economy is in the process of being built up in Indonesia. But all in all, I think we are also applying the mainstream economic policy while attacking different problems, including poverty development. Personally, I think Indonesia is in need particularly of progressive increases in human capital. That means, first of all, health. How do we assure that people have good access to health? Number two, access to education. Number three, access to skills. We would like to see the German system, the dual German system, adopted in Indonesia. And number three, of course, small and medium enterprises. You know this problem in East Asia, domination by the large enterprises, big corporations, conglomerated. But I think if you are to have a more sustainable development, inclusive development, then we have no choice but to spend resources on pushing forward the development of small and medium enterprises. And I think this government, our current government, has a lot in program. The question, of course, is how do we get the intents implemented?
Finally, with the problem of regional security, China and its neighbors are at odds, over claims of the territories in the South China Sea. Even though Indonesia is not directly involved, in the regional dispute, what is the overall positions, of Indonesia regarding regional security?
As member of ASEAN, of course, Indonesia will have to side with ASEAN. But I think the proper role to be played by Indonesia is one of honest broker, however difficult it is. That's number one. Number two, solution to this will have to be international. I don't expect that ASEAN alone with the claimant states can get to a durable solution on this. It will have to be international. So in that sense, Asia will have to cooperate with Europe, to cooperate with the Americas, and I think we have something to learn from Europe regarding the mechanism of Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.